AutoCAD 2010 has a new feature for viewport rotation. I've opened up a drawing here that has some basic objects in the Model tab. So let's look down here at the Model tab here. There's the Model tab there. I also have a Layout tab called Viewports. Notice when I hover over it I get a preview. I'm going to click on it so that I go into my Viewports tab. Now you'll see a piece of text there at the top of the screen. That is the AutoCAD variable that we're going to look at with regard to this red viewport. Now this red viewport at the moment is quite happily sitting there, and as you can see, what it allows you to do there is position objects that are in the Model tab in the Layout tab to scale. Now if I double click inside that viewport and pan, you can see that I can move the objects around. It's like I'm looking through the viewport into the Model tab, which is exactly what I'm doing. That red viewport at the moment is in essence a hole through my sheet of paper into the Model tab. I'm just going to double click outside of the viewport to deactivate it. Now the VP rotate ASOC variable, what it allows you to do is it allows you to rotate your viewport, but what it also allows you to do is get the objects within the viewport to rotate in conjunction with that viewport. So type VP rotate like so, and then ASOC. It's a weird variable to remember, but what you've got to remember is viewport, rotate, associative. What you're doing is you're associating the viewport rotate with the objects in the Model tab. If I press enter now, you'll see that it's currently at a value of 1. So let's leave it at a value of 1 and rotate the viewport and see what happens. I'll press enter there just to accept the 1. I then select my viewport just like any other AutoCAD object, like a rectangle for example. I right click and I select rotate on the shortcut menu. It asks me for a base point to rotate from. I'm going to pick the bottom left endpoint snap there, left click, and now I'm going to rotate the viewport upwards just a little bit, not much, to about there, and left click again just by using the mouse, left click. Notice with VP rotate ASOC set to 1, the objects inside the viewport also rotate. So the view through the viewport into the model space also rotates. Let's just undo that and set VP rotate ASOC back to 0. So I'll hit undo here on the quick access toolbar. That drops my viewport back to where it was. Now let's type in VP viewport rotate ASOC like that and press enter. I'll set it to 0 now and press enter. And now what you'll find is when I click on the viewport, right click, rotate on the shortcut menu, endpoint bottom left corner like before, left click, and then I'm going to rotate just by moving the mouse and left clicking. Look what happens this time. With VP rotate ASOC set to 0, the view into the model space through the viewport does not rotate with the viewport. As you can see there, if you set the variable to 1, it's a very useful tool because you can move your viewport or rotate your viewport more importantly, and the objects within the viewport, the view into the model space, go with that rotate. So you can make sure that you can fit more onto your drawing by rotating your viewports. It's a very productive, effective tool available only in AutoCAD 2010.